When we were in Boston, we were fortunate enough to take a guided tour of the Mason and Hamlin factory, which is one of a very limited number of piano factories still in the United States, and one of two that I was able to visit. Here are some pictures from our adventures at the factory. I hope you enjoy. Here is the main production line of the factory, where the actions are installed and final adjustments are made to the instruments. In this picture, a man watches over a CNC machine as it goes about its autonomous job carving out piano parts. This right here is a close-up of the CNC machine as it makes a piano's fallboard. I kinda like that there's sawdust chips flying in the air. It looked kinda neat to me. One cool thing about the Mason Hamlin company is that even though they're 150 years old, they're in a building that looks like it's at least that old. In this picture, you see the room where they take raw pieces of wood and turn them into parts of the piano using the table saw. If you look at it, you'll see that it's really well made, and we were told that it's at least 100 years old. In this crazy looking room, you see the rim machines, where the outer cases, called the rims, of the pianos are made. If you take a close look at one of the rim making machines, you'll see that it's made of really thick wood and metal, which is necessary because the Mason and Hamlin rims are some of the thickest that we have ever seen. Here is a close-up of one of the rims inside of the rim making machine being compressed. Here is the rim making machine for the largest Mason and Hamlin piano of all, their 9-foot model, which they call the CC. After the rims are pressed, they go into the drying room, where they are stored for several weeks or even months under heat. This is probably one of my favorite rooms in the factory, believe it or not, because it was about 90 degrees in there and really toasty. Here, some incomplete bridges sitting on a table, waiting to be finished. Here you see some structural beams that go on the underside of a piano. As is usual for Mason and Hamlin, they're really thick. And in this picture, the owner's son, Victor, points out to me the grooves in these beams where the tension resonator rods are going to be placed when this small piano is completed. This here is the main hub of the tension resonator, and I kinda like this picture, as I like the way the light reflects off of the O and the H. This here is the entire tension resonator, completed and waiting to be installed inside of the piano. In this picture, you see the tension resonator sitting inside of a piano. Notice that even though this is probably Mason and Hamlin's smallest model, the rim is really thick. In the 9-foot CC, Mason and Hamlin put not only one tension resonator in it, but two. This is a picture of Mason and Hamlin's upright model, called the 50. Like all the Mason and Hamlin pianos, this is extremely well made and very fun to play. Here's a picture of the harp for the 50, before the tuning pins and strings are installed. It kinda looks like Swiss cheese to me, which is kinda cool. Now here is a very pretty picture of when the tuning pins and the strings are installed, and this is probably one of my favorite pictures in this whole video. Here's a close-up of one of the bass strings that is used in the Model 50, and as you can see, it's really thick. Here's another room in the piano factory, where we found 5 uncompleted pianos with the tension resonators installed. The tension resonator is a tool that Mason and Hamlin uses to keep the rim from shifting and to make the pianos last a really long time. Because Mason and Hamlin was founded in 1854, none of the people who made the original pianos are around today. So what Mason and Hamlin does is they take apart their old pianos to find out why they were so great. Here's an interesting one for you. This is what Mason and Hamlin called a screw stringer piano, and the idea behind this was that you didn't need a tuning hammer to tune the piano. Here's one of Mason and Hamlin's old style actions, made of wood, before they switched completely over to carbon fiber actions. And here's a picture of a carbon fiber action, made by a company called Wessel, Nickel & Gross, and I can personally tell you that this is a really good action. Here's a picture of a Mason and Hamlin fallboard before it's installed on a piano. And here is a picture of a completed Mason and Hamlin piano that appears to be a 7-footer in the showroom. The showroom is another one of my favorite rooms in the whole factory because I was able to play on a wide variety of incredible, awesome pianos. Here's an interesting Mason and Hamlin piano. Not only does it have the old style logo, but the size of the black keys are a different color wood, which I think is kind of neat. And here's something you don't see very much anymore, made in USA. This is on the right hand corner of the fallboard, and I think it looks kind of cool, to be honest with you. Here are two Mason & Hamlin CCs, the 9-foot model, and these have an incredibly warm tone that I absolutely love. Here's another picture of the CC, and as you can see, there's a little Mason & Hamlin decal on the side of the piano, which I think is kind of cool too. This is a Mason & Hamlin BB, and this is by far one of my favorite pianos that I've ever played on. Again, it has a really warm tone. Here's another Mason & Hamlin BB, and if you look at the legs, you'll see that they haven't even been made yet, and I think that's so cool. Finally, here is a picture of a Mason & Hamlin sign that we saw as we exited the factory. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, see you next time.